What is up, you guys? It is Mr. What If here, bringing you a brand new, lovely little story. And this is going to be a continuation of What If Deku was Joker from, well, What If Deku was Joker except a good guy? Part 2. Yes, I finally remembered what part I'm on. Part 2 for What If Deku was Joker except a good guy. So, this would be the start of the anime, which means Deku would get attacked by the sludge villain, but it would go completely differently. One is Deku is going to be faster and, well, not stronger, but he's going to be more faster. So every time the sludge villain would try to launch himself at Deku, Deku will quickly move out the way, blitzing past the sludge villain. And this goes on, just Deku dodging and weaving. This goes on for a good 3 minutes. And then All Might arrives, saying, "I have no fear, I'm here." All Might does a destroy smash, knocking out the sludge villain. And Deku really wouldn't really do that whole grab onto All Might's leg thing. He'll just ask for All Might's autograph and go home. And he wouldn't really necessarily work out, but he would do something. He might run a little bit, he might jog, he can't, excuse me, I had to burp a little bit there. He really wouldn't work out. Most likely during the 10 months, he realized that the more damage he takes, the stronger and faster he becomes. So the whole 10 months, he's just been getting into a fight with all the bullies he knew in middle school, and including Bakugo. But they just thinking that Deku has a death wish, or Deku thinks that, he thinks that Deku's the man now because he has a quirk and he did all that weird transformation, and now this transformation probably got to Deku's head like he's strong or something. Technically, yes. But how the way Deku is fighting them is very weird. Like, Deku, as soon as he walked up to one of the bullies or Bakugo, he would take off his shirt and say, "Come at me with everything you got." And then Bakugo say, "Really? You gonna..." And then they would be disgusted to see what his body looked like. His ribs are kind of showing. He's skinny. It looks like his bones are jointing out. It looks like his bones are about to come out of his skin. And then he says, "Come at me." And then they would just come at Deku. And every time they would attack Deku, Deku would let it happen. And Deku realized that every time Bakugo would hit him with an explosion, it really wouldn't faze Deku. And Deku realized, what if I tried to do something like this? And Deku said, well, if any damage I ever take is going to be nothing. And then this is when he goes up against Bakugo, he finds out about the green smoke that he could do, the toxic gas that he could produce. And Deku was amazed that he's able to produce this green-like smoke that is able to enhance Bakugo's fear and plus knock him out. So Deku was pretty shocked. And let's say that Deku would actually piss off some gang members, and then they would actually take Deku and beat him up. One gang member had a poisonous quirk, would actually put their hand on Deku's mouth and ingest Deku with this poison. But Deku would just get up and breathe it out, and then instead of breathing out, and then when Deku would breathe out, it would be like the green smoke. And then Deku's eyes would just turn green again, and he'll just become stronger and faster. And then Deku realized that, and then this is when Deku would go home and tell his mom that some guy beat him up and ingest him with poison. And yes, Deku does have a stepmother. And Deku's stepmother name is Lucy. So yeah, Deku does have a stepmother, and her name is Lucy. So yeah. So she would take him to the doctors, to the hospital, to see what kind of poison he was ingested. And then when they go, they found out that the poison that was ingested into Deku is actually boosting up his bloodstream and is actually going to send Deku into like an adrenaline rush state in a few minutes, actually. And actually, in a few minutes, it's gonna send Deku into like a hyper rush. Like if a kid would eat too much candy and it would start to have all this energy, yeah, that's what Deku's about to do. He's about to go into a hyper rush. And then they try to do something else. They just a little bit of poison into him, and then they found out that he's toxic and poison proof. Yay! Deku cannot be damaged by any type of poison or toxic. So so that means if Deku goes up against Shigaraki, that disintegrating quirk ain't really going to do nothing. And then let's time skip to UA's entry exam. Deku doesn't trip, but he does stay quiet. And everybody is looking at Deku like, why is his skin all white? His hair is like a dark green. His eyes are green. He has black fingernails and all. Like he's basically like, why is all of this? Like his skin is all white, fingernails are black, dark green hair. And Deku is basically, he doesn't really care. He knows that people are talking about him, but he really doesn't care. So Deku would actually get a decent score on a written exam, and then is the finally against the robots. Deku, he takes down a good. Deku actually has one of the three-pointer robots follow him and let the three-pointer robot attack Deku. And Deku just get slammed into a wall repeatedly. And let's say that the robots actually have cameras inside of them to see like which student or which kid took down a specific robot to keep track of their points. And let's say that they would see this, and including All Might. Well, All Might wouldn't be there, but Principal Nezu would say that look at this kid getting beat up by this robot, allowing him to. And then when Deku gets slammed into a wall one last time and he hits his head, this time first instead of hitting his back, Deku snaps. And then Deku just goes ham on the robot. Deku's punches are 10% of All Might's Detroit Smash punches. So Deku's pretty much powerful right now. Deku is ready to take on All Might at 10% of All Might's power. So right now, that's Deku. Deku is 10% of All Might's power, and Deku is just destroying robots left and right. And every time he's destroying a robot, he's laughing. He's just laughing. And then he would use the parts of a robot he destroyed. He would rip it up, break them. He would just destroy the robots. He would rip out like one of the three-pointer robots' power core, and then like he would punch a hole right through it, punching out one of the three-pointers' power core, punching it right out, leaving a hole. And then he would grab the three-pointer robot by his face, and then Deku would say, looks like you really are. And then Deku would grab the three-pointer robot by the face and say, I guess machines really are holy weapons. And then Deku would just drop it and run. Then this is when Deku would see the 0 pointer robot. The 0 pointer robot, and then Deku would see the girl that is trapped underneath the rubble. Deku would help the girl. Would actually get the rubble off of her. Get the rubble off of her and actually carry her while he's running. So Deku is carrying her on his back and he's running. And and of course this girl is Uraraka, and Uraraka actually feels Deku's bones in his back, like his spinal cord, his wing. Well, I call it wing, even though it's supposed to be your back blade. I call it the wing. So yeah, she could feel his backbone popping out and his bones. She could feel his rib cage, like using it, like she could feel all the bones in somebody's back. And then Deku would carry her to safety, and then that would be the end of it. And time skip to when Deku actually gets accepted into UA, but they want him to go speak to Principal Nezu first thing in the morning, so they want him to come a little bit earlier before the teachers. So of course Deku would do this, and then he would explain to Principal Nezu that his quirk, the more damage he'd take, the more stronger and powerful and better of a fighter he becomes. Um, he has the ability to release like this green gas that he's able to use to like enhance people's fear or knock them out, and he can also, and any type of poison or toxic gas will never, any type of toxic or decaying or basically anything that decays or that's toxic or venomous, it doesn't really work on Deku. It actually also increases his stamina. So instead of drinking juice or something, Deku would drink like a full-on ounce of poison. Like a yeah, he would drink like a full-on ounce of like venomous poison from like a snake, just to increase his stamina. And when Deku gets to class, the first person he sees is Momo Yaoyorozu, and then she says, well, and then Momo would say, just to start conversation, would say, I wasn't expecting anybody else to arrive this early. And then Deku would say, I wasn't expecting someone to be this early as well. And then Deku would talk to her, and then he would ask her what is her name. She would of course say, my name is Momo Yaoyorozu. You could just call me Momo. And then Deku says, my name is Zuku Midoriya. You could call me Zuku, but the people that I know call me Deku. And then she says, Deku, like, you can do anything? And then she says, well, doesn't the word Deku means you could do anything? And then he would say, yeah, but he really doesn't go too much into his nickname. His nickname, which is his middle name, he doesn't really go into it. And they would have a good conversation. And then this was when Mr. Aizawa would walk in and say, you two are very early, and all of that good jazz. Then they would say, yeah. And then Deku would say, who are you? And then this is when Mr. Aizawa says, I am your homeroom teacher, Mr. Aizawa. But you... And then Deku would look very closely at Mr. Aizawa, and he would say, wait a minute, you're Pro Hero Eraserhead, aren't you? And then Aizawa would say, very smart kid. It seems like you've done your research on me. And then he says, just the heroes I really take a liking into. And then Deku would say, "I love your eyes, Mr. Aizawa." And then Mr. Aizawa and Momo would look dumbfounded. And then Momo said, why would you say you like his eyes?" And Deku says, "I like his eyes. I love his eyes. I love how his eyes turn red when he uses his quirk, which allows him to allows him to turn off other people's quirks. But it only works by only turning off the mental bond with the quirk. Like how some people could control their powers by their feelings, which is basically everybody, but yeah, that's how that's how his quirk works, is by turning off the mental bond between the person and the quirk. And the mental bond is the strongest because without the mental bond, you wouldn't know what emotion to use to activate or really use your quirk. That means you would just use your quirk at random. And then Mr. Aizawa would be in shocked and say, "How do you know how my quirk works?" And then he says, "Like you said, I done some research. Like I told you, I only do research on heroes that I find very much interesting. And once again, I love your eyes, Mr. Aizawa, or Pro Eraserhead." And Momo would find Deku pretty interesting. And then Momo would say, "What is your quirk?" Deku would say, "Oh, my quirk allows me to take damage, and the more damage I take, the stronger and faster I become. I can produce this green type of smoke that allows me to enhance people's fear or knock them out, and any type of poison, such as venomous poison or decaying or toxics, anything like that, or somebody else's fear enhancement quirk would actually increase my stamina." And then Momo would say, "That's pretty much of a freakish quirk." And then he would say, "Yeah." And then he would say, "What is your quirk?" And then Momo would say, "Mine is creation. As long as I know the foundation of what the object I need, I can use it by using my body fat." And then Deku would find this pretty much interesting. So yeah, and then 15-minute head skip, 15-minute skip. Then that's when everybody else will start to walk into class, and then everybody will see Momo and Deku actually talking and getting along, and seeing that they were the first people here. Sorry about that background noise. And then they would see that they were the first two people here, and Momo and Deku would turn to the class. Well, they would just turn to the class, and then Bakugo would walk in and see Deku talking to a girl. And then this is when Deku gets pissed. And then Deku would get pissed off, and Bakugo would get pissed off. And then Deku clenches his fist, and Bakugo gets ready to do an explosion. And I'm going to wrap it up right here, you guys. So yeah, like, subscribe, and comment down below on comment down below what's your favorite thing. What is your favorite Joker vehicle? Because I'm thinking about giving Deku a vehicle in this. So what is your favorite Joker vehicle? Like the Joker copter, the Joker bike, the Joker car. Well, it's not a car, it's a go-kart, but yeah. Just type down, comment down below, what is your favorite type of Joker vehicle? And I'll probably use that for the story for Deku. So yeah.